But how beautiful is it for the new Moore-Miller administration to know what kind of partners that we have in Washington?
Yeah.
Because when I say that this is going to be Maryland's decade, I'm not playing. And I also know in order for this to be Maryland's decade, we've got to have the right partners in Washington helping to forge that path. And I'm here to tell you that we do. And it is great to have the Vice President back here in the state of Maryland in this moment to talk about this issue. And it's great to have the Vice President here talking about things that matter so much to us, which is home ownership and affordable housing and leaving no one behind. You know, it means addressing the fact that we have an 8-to-1 racial wealth gap here in the state of Maryland, and we all know that's not because one group is working 8 times harder. There's history to this. And it's addressing the fact that the wealth gap is not just hurting or impacting one group, it is hurting and impacting all of us. That the racial wealth gap inside this country has cost this country $16 trillion in GDP over the past 2 decades. That's not GDP of a group. That's GDP. So the fact that we have not addressed this by focusing on wealth is impacting all of us. Those days in the state of Maryland come to an end. And we're going to focus on wealth by being able to center our work and our focus on one of the things that is one of the greatest wealth creators that we have in our society, and that is home ownership. Meaning the ability to own more than you owe. Simply meaning the ability to pass something off to your children and your grandchildren besides debt. Wealth. And if we can focus on work, wages, and wealth, this will be our decade. And that's the power of today. That's the power of this work. That's the power of the Vice President being here today to celebrate and talk about the work that's happening right now in Washington and how it's benefiting the people of the state of Maryland. Because right now we know that with this rise of interest rates, which is real, that we have to take steps to ensure that low and moderate income residents, as well as first-time home buyers, can remain competitive in this market. And that this is not a moment where people are falling back. And through the Maryland Mortgage Program, which by the way is a 40-year-old program and is now a self-sustaining program and one that is continuing to build equity and wealth inside of communities, this state helps to provide affordable mortgage loans to thousands of Marylanders every single day. And I'm very proud of the fact that in our proposed budget that we released, we have fully funded the Maryland Mortgage Program, and we will continue to do so. That this rate cut will mean the cost of borrowing will be even lower for Marylanders, and this will reduce another barrier that we continue to have for people to have the ability to be able to own homes. And just in the past 3 years, it has averaged more than $1 billion in mortgage loans annually. This last fiscal year, the state provided loans to over 3,300 home buying Marylanders. Administered through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, and I know our Secretary of DHCD, Jake Day, is here somewhere. I want to thank him for his leadership. There he is. Hey, Secretary Day. You're doing a remarkable job already. You talk about hitting the ground running. This man's hitting the ground sprinting. And we are grateful. Because this program also offers down payment assistance as well as closing cost assistance, which have been some of the biggest barriers for people to be able to enter into home buying markets. As well, by the way, as student debt relief for first-time home buyers. This is not just an important model for Maryland, this is an important model for our entire nation. And we are proud of the fact that this funding and this support will make sure that the program doesn't only continue, but that it continues to grow.
Thank you for joining me. So can you talk about the
home ownership program that the governor talked about that Maryland will be offering?
Home ownership works? Absolutely. So this is a pilot program that we're looking to extend this coming year. It's a pilot program that recognizes that one size fits all doesn't work for most communities. And when you look at neighborhoods like Pine Street in Cambridge on Maryland's Eastern Shore, or when you look at Johnson Square in Baltimore, those have been the focus areas of the pilot project. Sort of the surgical response that we need wasn't existing in programs that predated the creation of Homeownership Works. And so this program allows for funding that can go into existing owner-occupied dwellings to make critical repairs, weatherization improvements, the sorts of things that frankly government hasn't always had a resource for, or a pool of resources for. On top of that, the program layers in money that can go into filling vacant lots in those neighborhoods with future owner-occupied housing. Now, when we pair those with our low-income housing tax credit deals, things that the state of Maryland, Department of Housing and Community Development are particularly good at, we start to see a more robust response to the kind of community rebuilding work that we need to do. And I'm of the belief, and I believe this helps to achieve our governor's vision, that when we look at neighborhoods in that way, we can start to right historic wrongs. When we look at the damage that was done by policies like redlining, federal urban renewal program, and even highway construction that erased entire neighborhoods. The way we stitch those back is not through sort of one type of housing, one type of solution, but rather through this sort of mix of tools that are available. And that's what the Homeownership Works program does.
So the announcement that the Vice President made today, how would the partnership with the Biden-Harris administration work with this program?
Well, so the state of Maryland already facilitates the FHA loans in Maryland through the Maryland Mortgage Program. So we are we're an underwriter for these types of loans. So we partner with FHA. We also partner with conventional private loans to help people become homeowners in Maryland. But this is just one of the ways that we'll be at the table helping to facilitate these FHA loans to Maryland families in need who are looking to as the governor said, build wealth and capitalize on opportunities that might not have been available to them in the past.
Okay, thank you.